From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Cascade Paint and Supply is Redding's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining me here this afternoon. You know, today's that last day that many of us are going to start to kind of see that last little push of rain. It's not going to be heavy for most cases, although there are going to be a few instances this afternoon. It could be a bit of a different story. We'll get into that a little bit later. Once we get past today, everyone will be dry 100%. So we've got that's what we have in store for us here in the next 24 hours. But through the day today, we still have some gusty winds in store for us. And that is going to also be one of the contributing factors why some areas may see some pretty heavy rainfall. We're going to be talking about that here a little bit later too. But once we get past all of this today, we got these spring-like temperatures this week, and we're talking about a bit of a false spring. Temperatures are going to be well above normal for this time of the year, mid to upper 70s for parts of the valley. And then, of course, it starts to drop off again after that as we go into the weekend. Speaking of the weekend and next week, we've got a possibility for some more wet weather making its way back into the forecast. All right, so here's how much we've seen so far since Friday. And there's the bullseye we've been talking about, 3-4 inches of rain out towards the northwestern portions of the state. You head to the south and east, you start seeing less and less, and dramatically less amounts of rainfall. I mean, from, 3.22 in Crescent City to under 1/10 of an inch of rainfall for most of us in the valley. So here's what we have for the rest of the day today. Windy, breezy, depending on where you are. Chances for showers. Not everyone in the valley will see rain. In fact, many of you in the valley won't see any rain. It's the north end around Redding. That may be a bit of a different story. So this is the area of low pressure right here that is responsible for the gusty winds that we're seeing here this afternoon. But once that moves out, the winds will start to die down. We still have the high wind warnings, the wind advisories for gusts 50, 60 miles per hour. We've already seen through the morning hours, especially along the coast here over some of the exposed mountain ridge tops, gusts over 50 miles per hour. Same story for some of the higher ridge tops here in Siskiyou and even into Modoc County, seeing gusts over 50 miles per hour. Now, we don't have any advisories for the valley, but the winds are going to be strong there. As we go through the afternoon, we're talking gusts possibly over 30 miles per hour. By this evening and into tonight, those winds will subside substantially, actually. Now, still a little breezy for Tuesday with that north breeze for the valley, but otherwise, the winds are going to be much, much weaker here for your Tuesday and your Wednesday. But remember, I was talking about the winds creating a factor for some heavy rain for some of us. Well, let's talk about that for a second. What's been studied, this is actually a phenomenon that's been studied here in Shasta County. And it's known as the Shasta County Convergence Zone. And it typically will impact this area right here. Now, what is the Shasta County Convergence Zone, you ask? Well, you probably heard us talk about this convergence zone before. What typically happens is flat surface, the valley, you've got strong south winds. That flat surface then turns into a mountainous surface. Right now, you've got the winds blowing up the slope of those mountains. And when you have rising air, that's a form of instability. We talk about unstable atmosphere. Well, that's because the air is rising, and we typically see cloud development, depending on how much moisture is. You see rain associated with that. So we're creating instability with the winds blowing up the mountains. Now, notice what's happening. You see these strong south winds, but over here, you've got these winds blowing from southwest to northeast. That's what's, in a sense, driving and pushing the storms that develop to the north and east. Very common. So let's advance through time. We're going every 5 minutes here because it's going to happen pretty quickly. 2:30 this afternoon, you can see this model picks up just north of the city of Shasta Lake a heavy downpour. And that's going to be some heavy rainfall. That then moves off to the north and east, and you see how we start to see some redevelopment coming in behind that. You see, sometimes you see it move to the north and east, but right behind it, more develops. And that's when we can start typically seeing some flooding as well. Now, are we going to see flooding with this? Only time will tell. We'll see if that's exactly what kind of pans out. But that's 3 o'clock today. Then we go into about 3:30. That pushes off to the north and east. Now, it looks like things are okay here, right? But watch what happens as we go through the rest of the afternoon. We see some more development now to the east of the city of Shasta Lake and Redding, just south of Highway 299, making its way into the Bernie area, Fall River Mills, Ayden, Canby, even Alturas. Then you can see how there's just more developing in the same area. This could be a lot of rainfall in a short period of time. We're approaching the 5 o'clock hour at this point. Now it's over Bernie. You're seeing some of that heavier rainfall there. And then by 6 o'clock, it should start to show signs of getting weaker. So let's zoom it out here and kind of take a look at that. So you see all that kind of developing here? It's this area right here, the Shasta County Convergence Zone. Now, you'll notice, for the most part, everyone else is dry. But you can see this line from Alturas all the way down to Bernie. All right, and then of course we got some showers out to the northwest and also some light showers to the east, but nothing all that significant. Then by later tonight, say 8, 9 o'clock, we start to see it really begin to just kind of break apart. We no longer have that convergence zone in place anymore, and really things are starting to dry out at this point. Now there may be a leftover sprinkle or some drizzle for parts of the coast here tomorrow morning, but then it dries out entirely by the time we go through the afternoon on Tuesday. So everyone is dry. We're clearing things out for Tuesday, and we're going to keep things fairly clear through the day on Wednesday as well with dry conditions. And this will be the case for Thursday, Friday, and then maybe by the weekend, a chance for some more rain. But again, that convergence zone, the forecast model is picking up on that, so that's why Bernie has a 1/2 inch of rainfall. Is that going to happen? Not necessarily. There are going to be other places that may see a little bit more than that, a little bit less. You'll notice Redding is getting caught up in some of this, at least some light accumulating rain, and that certainly is a possibility. We can't rule that out. But as you head south of Redding, most likely not even a drop of rain. And then, of course, not much off to the east, not much off to the north and east either. Although, again, where we're seeing that convergence line around Ayden, even approaching Alturas, we could see some more rain than what we're seeing here for both those locations. But not as much to the north and west, because really things are starting to wrap up, minus that convergence zone I was just telling you about. Now let's talk about the long range, because yeah, we're drying things out for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but sometime this weekend, it depends on which forecast model you look at, sometime around Saturday, Sunday, we're going to break away from the dry weather pattern that's setting up for the rest of the week, and we see more wet weather coming in. Now, there could be more coming in as we go into early next week, Monday, maybe a bit of a break on Tuesday of next week, but then we've got all of this heading our way that could impact us by the middle and latter part of next week with more wet weather. Now, again, with those stronger winds, we also have a high surf advisory, but that won't take effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon, should expire by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, with large breaking waves of 20 to 24 feet. All right, so here's what we have in store for us today. Temperatures mid to upper 60s for most of us in the valley this afternoon. Temperatures 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, and we've got those upper 50s for your daytime highs for the coast. So here's your 7-day outlook. Windy conditions. I'm taking out the raindrops for Chico. Redding, probably not Red Bluff, but Redding may see a light shower. Dry Tuesday all the way through Friday, and then everyone's got that chance. It doesn't matter where you are in Northern California. Everyone's going to have that chance for some showers here by Saturday and Sunday. For the coast, windy, showers. Inland, also the case for Trinity County. Dry through Friday, with showers again, possibly over the weekend. And for Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains, later on this afternoon and evening, Susanville, you might get caught up in some of those showers. Windy, of course, for everybody else. And we're talking mainly dry conditions here through Friday, with yet another chance, that is, for showers over the weekend. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back again this evening at 6 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.